Yeah, we're right. Okay, Craig, Cronulla this week. What have you looked at during the week after Anzac Day?
Yeah, we haven't had a whole heap of time. Obviously, it's only a 5-day turnaround. So, as I said after the game, I was a little bit disappointed with our defence, especially in the second half. So, I thought there were some things we could have done there a bit better. And so, like I say, with the time we've had this week, we've sort of looked at a little bit more of our defence, than what we probably usually do. So. Hopefully, it'll be a bit better this week. I think it's just need a little bit more urgency with our defence, and hopefully that might help fix a little problem.
You've got Will Chambers up against
Yeah.
this week. Have you reached out to him at all this week?
Actually, when we finished training on Tuesday, I actually had a missed call from him on my phone already, and so I tried to ring him on the way home, and then I didn't get him then, but I ended up getting him about an hour later. And he was great. Actually, he was obviously excited about playing this week, and obviously I'd imagine excited about playing against us. But he was very like as I said, he was excited, but he's quite humble as well, which is probably not one of Will's strongest traits. But so me and him had a chat about a month ago and 3 weeks ago, and he had this opportunity at Cronulla, and I said, you want to go and grab it both hands, you leave it 12 months and it's probably going to be too late. So, but he'll certainly add a lot to the Sharks. He's a very experienced player, and he's a really smart player as well. He knows what the game's about, especially around in his position. So, I'm sure, he'll help a lot of the young players there, and I'm sure he's probably give away a couple of little secrets this week as well. But, and he's obviously a really important, part of our club. I think he played in 3 of our grand final wins here. After 20 years, I think we're only about 23 years old or 24 years old, but after 20 years, they picked the best team that that the Storm have had, basically, and he made that team. So he's a life member here. So really important part of our past, and he'll always be an important part of our club. But he's obviously playing for the opposition on Friday, so. Hopefully for that 80 minutes we can keep a bit of a leash on him. Probably the one thing that we probably won't be able to control with him is his mouth. So I've organised 17 pairs of earplugs for our players. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go in our attack when we're calling plays, but he does a lot of chatting. When you sit down and have a chat to Will, you do a lot of listening, so I imagine our players will be hearing a lot of him tomorrow night.
Craig, there are reports this morning that you and Ryan are recommitting or about to recommit. Can you comment on that?
I can comment on it. It's not right. I haven't committed anything at the moment, and I'm not quite sure where that come from or why it's come at this stage. Obviously, it's the decision is getting closer, but that's certainly not. That's far from the truth.
Craig, good talk about the conference system in the last few days. I know there's still a lot to play out in that space, but do you have a view on whether it would be a good thing for the game to separate the competition into two conferences?
Yeah, like I say, I think it is a fair way off too if it does happen. So I think a couple of points. I think they're thinking of adding a couple of new sides as well. So I think we need to be a little bit aware of our talent and how much depth our talent has got at the moment. And I think that needs to be looked at. I think, and again, just being from an out of Sydney team, obviously, I think it'd be great for the context of the Sydney team's rivalry. I think that's been obviously mentioned a bit, and I think that'd be great for our game. But just the other thing, if that was to happen, if it was the Sydney teams and then the out of town teams, like the out of town teams would be, especially the Warriors and the Cowboys, they would be fairly inconvenienced by how much travel they would have to do. you know. So I think that's one thing that needs to be taken into consideration as well. But yeah, obviously seems as though there's a lot of good points to it. I really haven't thought too much about it. It sort of come out of the blue, like yesterday, you know, when it come, you know, out. That was the first I heard of it. So I haven't really had a lot of time to, you know, to have a think about it or put my head around it. But at the end of the day, it's you know, the guys that are running the game, it'll be their decision. And but like I say, I think that there's certainly a lot of good points to it. But you know, it probably needs to be, you know, a few more things need to be thought about, I think.
I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but Nico Hines was on Matty Johns last night, sort of bet his soul a little bit, I guess. Are you proud of his development in the club and how far he's come, I guess, at your club? Oh
yeah, without a doubt. You know, he's you know, he had obviously a difficult upbringing at times, you know, and you know, obviously, you know, into his late teens, you know, he had some difficult times with his mental well-being, and you know, but he's, you know, I don't know whether he's come through 100% the other side, you know, but at the end of the day, he's done a tremendous job to get to where he's got to at the moment with his, you know, his own mental well-being, but also, you know, as an NRL player as well. You know, he's basically, you know, part of our 17 now. I know he's, you know, his pet position's fullback, but you know, so it's hard there with Paps. But you know, some of the other games he's certainly played this year, you know, in different positions and different roles to what he's used to. You know, he's done a tremendous job, and you know, he done a really good job for us. You know, last Sunday as well. So yeah, like you've got to be proud and you've got to admire, you know, the way he's got through, you know, what he's been through. And yeah, so it's great to see those guys, you know, that, you know, have some real adversity, you know, in their life, especially in their younger lives, you know, come through that. And you know, he'll be a much better man and a much better NRL player for what he went through and getting through it, you know. So he's quite a resilient guy now.
And I think on Nico, is he coming out of contract? Do you hope that he recommends to the club?
Yeah, I think he is off contract at the end of this year. Yeah, so, you know, we're obviously very keen, you know, to keep hold of him. So, but I'd imagine, you know, there'll be a fair bit of interest in him out there. As I said, you know, his pet position is fullback, but, you know, he's turned to a real good utility player for us, you know, this year. So, yeah, but, you know, we'd love to hang on to him, but like I say, we'll just see what happens there.
Nelson's missing this week. Big impact that he's had off the bench. Yeah.
But, who are you working for? Where are you from?
Working for AP. Mel Woods is my name. How are you going to go about filling such a big hole as Nelson, who's been great off the bench?
Yeah, he has been. He's, you know, he started, I think, the first couple of games, and then we just thought his role, you know, he was best served off the bench, and you know, he's probably turned a couple of games for us, to be quite honest, you know, when he's come on. So obviously you can't really replace him, to be quite honest, you know, like big body like that, and you know how mobile he is. So yeah, but like I say, when we always take that mentality, when someone misses out, someone else gets a chance. So you know, you know, Chris Lewis will, you know, probably play this week. You know, there's still a couple of guys we'll have to check on today, you know, so we're not really sure, you know, after a 5-day turnaround. It's, you know, there was, you know, 3 or 4 guys that didn't train. What's today? You know, didn't train Tuesday, so, you know, like I say, it's still a little bit up in the air who's going to be in and who's going to be out, but yeah, he's a hard guy to replace, Nelson, and we'll be looking forward to hopefully getting him back next week.
And just the last question, the Sharks, getting them when they're a bit more dangerous with what Sean Johnson back and Wade Graham.
Yeah, obviously, you know, Wade being their captain, obviously he's a wonderful player, and you know, he's just such a vital part of their team. So he'll certainly add something to their left edge. And you know, Sean had a game last week. I think, you know, they restricted his time. I think he played about 50, 60 minutes. So, but you know, I'm sure he'll be ready to play 80 minutes this week. You know, we've got a little plan around there, obviously with his kicking. That's you know, really effective. So that's one area that we'll need to be good at.
Excellent.
Okay, thanks guys. Thank you.